Mario Kart Wii is a childhood classic. Given that over 30 million people have played the game by now, this should not come off as any surprise. One of the most challenging tasks the game has to offer is unlocking all the characters. While unlockables are extremely easy to obtain now, back then, the criteria was far more brutal. You have to do stuff like beating all the staff ghosts, or brave through the treacherous layouts of both Bowser's Castle and Rainbow Road. Or you could do it via the super convoluted way by playing thousands and thousands of races till the end of time. But the challenging nature of unlockables in Mario Kart Wii gave me an idea. Could I unlock all the characters in under a day? Now, you might be thinking, oh, this is gonna be a cakewalk. You're going up against CPUs for crying out loud. They can't be that challenging, right? Here we freaking go. I knew it. I freaking knew they would. Oh my god. Yeah. As you can see, this challenge is not for the faint-hearted. And to truly measure just how time-consuming this challenge was going to be, I put up a speedrun timer to track my progress. Timing starts the moment I click on a new license and ends when I unlock the last character. But with that said, this is my quest to unlock every character in Mario Kart Wii. The moment I began, I initially decided that I was going to go for these 5 characters. But there was a problem. At the beginning, only half the cups are available, and you have to beat them first before getting the other half where all the unlockables are located. Thus, I changed course and set my eyes on Funky Kong instead. To unlock him, you have to win against 4 time trial ghosts and unlock their expert counterparts. For this, I picked Yoshi on the mock bike and decided to race the staff ghosts for the Mushroom Cup since they're the easiest to beat. While Yoshi isn't quite as good as he is in Deluxe, he's still pretty decent, and my driving felt exceptionally great. I was wheeling, mini-turboing, and taking shortcuts much faster than any of the staff ghosts. My driving felt so good to the point where I would often win by more than 10 seconds. With that said, I easily unlocked the 4 expert ghosts and then got Funky, the first one of the day to be unlocked. Now that I had Funky, I could power through the rest of these time trials with ease. You probably already know by now just how busted Funky is when paired up with the Flame Runner, and that's exactly what I did. Using him really felt like a breeze because he's super OP and cool as heck. Anyways, with that said, I decided to take on another 4 staff ghosts, which would allow me to unlock Baby Luigi. Honestly, I don't have much to say here. The ghosts were a cakewalk, and a couple minutes later, I was able to unlock Baby Luigi. After that, I had 8 more staff ghosts to go up against. Adding these to the other 8 I beat previously would give me a total of playing 16 courses in time trials, and that would unlock Birdo. Once again, it was light work, with DK Summit and N64 Mario Raceway feeling exceptionally easy. Both tracks had either tricking, half-pipes, and shortcuts to boot, all of which was able to push me so far ahead of the ghosts. For Shy Guy Beach, I was initially struggling to beat it due to being slower in the water and not taking the shortcuts well, but then I had an idea. I decided to briefly switch to Baby Peach on the Magic Cruiser, and thanks to the latter's huge off-road bonus, it was a total breeze and easily won. And yes, I would have used Toadette since she has an even better off-road stat, but Baby Peach is still decent nonetheless. And after all that, I finally got Birdo. Now that I had played through all the courses available from the get-go, I couldn't progress through time trials any further and had to move on to 50cc. My eyes were then set on getting King Boo, since all you have to do to get him is win the Star Cup. But to unlock it, I had to progress through the first 2 Nitro Cups. It wasn't too bad, but 50cc felt pretty boring to get through. In fact, it took me 20 minutes for the first 2 cups alone, which may not seem like a lot, but because of the fact that I'm currently on a timer, it absolutely is. Additionally, I was also beginning to feel just how much of a nuisance the blue shell is in this game. It's way more brutal compared to Deluxe, and the same can also be said for the 2 other shells as well. Nonetheless, I eventually won the Star Cup, and as a result, I got King Boo. And on a side note, it's honestly shocking that this entire cup will soon be in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. The next character for me to unlock was Diddy Kong. To unlock him, you have to beat the Lightning Cup on 50cc, but again, you have to play through the first 3 Retro Cups. The first 2 were mostly straightforward. However, when I got to GCN Mario Circuit, I actually began to choke. I was constantly being Mario Karted left and right and absolutely botched the grass shortcut. I was only barely able to eke out 2nd place, but thankfully, that was still enough for me to get 1 star. Furthermore, while 50cc did feel boring at first, the slow pace of it really began to sink in for me. Come on. God, I just want to get out of 50cc as soon as possible. It's just the definition of boredom and hell combined. It should come as absolutely no surprise that by the time I got to the Lightning Cup, I just wanted to be done with 50cc right at that moment. Thankfully, I was able to breeze through the tracks without much pain, and I finally got Diddy. Next up on my radar was Dry Bones. To unlock him, you have to win the Leaf Cup on 100cc, but for the 3rd time in a row, I had to beat the first 2 Retro Cups. Nintendo, what is with you and the unlock system? Thankfully, now that I was at 100cc, the races would progress faster compared to 50cc. And not only that, I could finally go back to using Funky on the Flame Runner. Other than that, racing the cups was more or less the same as last time, and after roughly 30 minutes, I was able to get Dry Bones. Furthermore, because I had a save file of Mario Galaxy, I also got Rosalina without having to deal with the horrible pain of unlocking her via mirror mode. Because I felt tired with Grand Prix mode, I decided to go back to time trials. Playing the other 16 courses would not only allow me to unlock my girl Toadette, but also Mii Outfit B. Just like before, racing against the staff ghosts went really well for me. In nearly every instance, I was well above the 5-second threshold required to get the expert ghosts. However, it felt incredibly time consuming, and by the time I got to the Special Cup, I was over 4 hours into the run. And don't get me started on how the Special Cup went. While the first 2 courses were somewhat challenging, it really began to pick up in difficulty when I got to Bowser's Castle. This track was hard. I kept bonking into walls, getting hit by the fire bars, and on one of my failed attempts, this happened. No! So yeah, Bowser's Castle was definitely a challenge, but I was eventually able to beat this track. But if you thought that was painful, oh boy, it is nothing compared to the next track. Say hello to Wii Rainbow Road. This is by far the hardest track in Mario Kart history, and my failed attempts really showcase the pain and agony that I went through. I kept falling off the track, bumping into the guardrails, and the ghost always kept catching up to me with ease. Not to mention the fact that I had to be ultra cautious whenever I would utilize drifting and boost panels. Going too fast would mean me veering out of control and falling to my death. At one point, I even decided to switch off of Funky and pick other characters so that I would have better control. And while I was making some notable progress, I was still heavily struggling and repeating the same mistakes. Eventually, after falling off the track on lap 2, I decided to just bite the bullet and finish the race anyway. All in all, I think my words here sum up this track in a nutshell. Dude, this is like the Champions Road or the perfect run of Mario Kart. Not just Mario Kart Wii, but Mario Kart as a whole. In fact, I'm pretty sure this course had to have been the inspiration for Champions Road. I'm not even joking. On the bright side, however, getting through all time trials meant that I finally had Toadette by my side. And with my main, I could finally muster up the courage and motivation to keep on grinding. With that said, I decided on going back to 50cc to unlock Baby Daisy, who you can obtain by 1-starring every Wii Cup. Given that I had already unlocked King Boo and Diddy, the only cup left to 1-star was, again, the Special Cup. Surprisingly enough, I was actually doing pretty well this time. I was still getting Mario Karted at times, sure, but the first 3 tracks went pretty smoothly nonetheless. But now it was time to meet the devil once again. At first, it was going poorly. I burned out at the start and got bumped off by the Mario CPU. However, by some heck of a miracle, I managed to clutch out my first win on Wii Rainbow Road. And after getting through the credits, I finally unlocked Baby Daisy. Yahoo! With 50cc fully complete, it was now time to move on to 150cc, play all the retro cups there, and unlock Bowser Jr. Just like before, it was more or less gonna be a cakewalk considering that I had already sweeped the retro cups to unlock Dry Bones, and the only one I didn't get around to playing was the Lightning Cup. And a cakewalk it was. Aside from falling into the lava at N64 Bowser's Castle, all of the cups were very easy to get through, and I got Bowser Jr. with no pain. Afterward, I decided to go back to 100cc and unlock Mii Outfit A via the Special Cup. But when I started racing in the Grand Prix again, it felt different. I seemed more prone to making mistakes, and on top of that, whenever I got hit by any items, the CPUs would easily catch up to me. Not to mention the fact that my repeated setbacks would often hinder my ability to get the required stars for each cup. And even when using Funky, it still felt like a struggle despite front-running by a significant amount. But by far the biggest moment where my struggles truly began to sink in happened on Moonview Highway. I tried to get ahead of the stupid bomb car. Dude, what? What is going on? What the Dude! What the hell just happened? I got bombed 6 times in a row. Oh my god. If that doesn't indicate how brutal this challenge has become, I don't know what does. And to add insult to injury, I had to race on Rainbow Road again. But surprisingly enough, despite massively screwing up at the start, I was able to adapt well to the track, took some shortcuts, and clutched out first place. And subsequently, I finally got Mii Outfit A. Now it was time to get Mii Outfit B. And with my 2 other wins on Rainbow Road, I felt more confident in my abilities to finally beat that one remaining staff ghost once and for all. Beating the ghost was one thing, but unlocking the expert one, on the other hand, seemed so demanding of a task. I needed to beat the ghost by 5 seconds on the hardest Mario Kart track ever. And how long did it take me? Well, by some heck of a miracle, it only took me 1 extra try. But it wasn't easy. I had to perform the shortcuts without losing a single mile of speed, had to carefully avoid falling off, and on top of that, I constantly had to outplay the ghost. But when I did emerge triumphant, it felt so good. Yes! Freaking finally! Oh my god, yes! Yes! Yes, yes, yes! My girl, always coming in clutch whenever I need her. Let's go, let's go, let's go!
Hi, I'm Daisy!
Only 2 characters remain now, Daisy and Dry Bowser. But these 2 were quite possibly the hardest ones to unlock in the entire challenge, and I truly mean it. To unlock Daisy, you have to win the special cup on 150cc, and for Dry Bowser, I was under the impression that you had to 1-star every single cup on 150cc. But we'll get back to him later. While I was more used to racing on 150cc, reaching it over 6 hours into the run felt extremely problematic. If you thought my struggles earlier were a problem, now it got even worse. I was beginning to choke hard on beginner tracks like Mushroom Gorge and even N64 Sherbet Land of all places. Grinding out these tracks began to feel like a painful chore rather than happily racing, especially when such minor slip-ups were often the deciding factor for certain races. There was even one particular instance where muscle memory took control and I tried to take the waterfall shortcut on Koopa Cape like in Deluxe, only to then realize how dumb I was a few seconds later. Even the CPUs were especially brutal to me at times, as I would often get bumped around like crazy, and it was even easier for them to catch up. Needless to say, I was feeling tired, stressed, and just wanted to be done with the challenge. Doubly so when you consider the fact that I kept failing and failing and failing on the Mushroom Cup alone. By the time I got to Rainbow Road, I was only able to 1-star 2 cups, and this was my current state. It's time for Torment Session Round 3. Torment Session Round 3, here we go! And a Torment Session it indeed was. Bumping, falling off, thunderclouds, not being fast enough to take the shortcuts, this track was absolutely brutal. But despite going through all that, I was able to clutch out 2nd place. And after 2 hours of non-stop grinding and failed attempts, I got Daisy. Ladies and gentlemen, this is it. After more than 8 hours, we have finally arrived at the last character to be unlocked, Dry Bowser. To make a final push, I had to 1-star every cup on 150cc, and this was quite possibly the craziest grind I have ever gone through in Mario Kart. After so much playing, raging, and racing, only 1 cup stood in my way. Now was finally my chance to brave through my worst Mario Kart nightmare, conquer the special cup, and unlock the last character once and for all. By this point, I was taking it very, very seriously. I was trying my hardest to off-road through a lot of the shortcuts, still managing to clutch out first despite being blue-shelled, and got through Bowser's Castle for the upteenth time. But would I brave through Rainbow Road like I did the previous 4 times? Whatever. As long as I get at least 1 star, we should be good. After finishing the race, I managed to get 2nd place and checked to see if I got 3 stars. But to my absolute despair, I saw that big fat A instead of the single star I was hoping for. Still better than B or below, but considering the fact that I was doing so well only to screw it all up at the very end, it felt like a huge letdown regardless. But alright, I just had to replicate the special cup again and win. How hard could that be? No! God damn it. How dare you? It's GG's. And now I have to start all over again. I am never attempting this challenge ever again. Ever. Throughout this ordeal, the challenge definitely felt hard. It especially felt time-consuming and sadistic at times. But at the beginning, I was at the very least filled with passion and energy to unlock everything. Now, after so many hours of grinding non-stop, that passion had all but eroded. I felt so close, yet so far from achieving my ultimate goal just because of Dry Bowser. This character will forever, in my mind, be the hardest one to unlock in Mario Kart Wii. But all I could do was keep trying and wait for everything to go my way. Please, I'm begging you. I am begging you, please. Please don't get Mario Karted. Please. Please! Yes! Yes! Oh my god, that took forever. Yes! We freaking did it! Oh my... After over 10 hours of hard work, constantly getting Mario Karted, and falling off Rainbow Road over and over, I had finally done it. Dry Bowser was mine, and the challenge was officially complete. By this point, I was feeling so tired and completely dead. My eyes felt swollen from staring at the TV for so long, my knees and hands were totally sore, and basically felt dead. In a nutshell, Dry Bowser himself perfectly encapsulated how I felt when the challenge was officially over. So, what did I learn from all this? And was it even worth spending so many hours of my life to complete this one challenge? Well, had I not been an idiot and actually took the time to plan out my unlock route well, dive into research a bit more, and avoid overworking myself when it came to the Grand Prix, I would have completed this challenge way faster. In fact, had I known that you only had to 1-star the 150cc Nitro Cups to get Dry Bowser, I probably would have completed this in 5 hours instead of a grueling 10. But at the end of the day, regardless of what I could have done differently and the time it took me to unlock all the characters, this truly illustrates just how brutal Mario Kart Wii is. Even against the CPUs, which are always easy in other games, were a literal challenge to face here. And ultimately, obtaining all the characters is a true testament to the sheer skill required to fully complete the game.